Part 2 of episode 4 of the In the Pocket podcast. I am your host, Kevin Chip Ginyard. I am happy that you all took the time to hang out with me tonight. We're going to pick up right where we left off with the iconic, legendary musician, drummer, producer, educator, and father. This is a special Father's Day edition. My guest has toured the world with some of the most amazing artists that you can ever imagine. He is a kind man. He is a well-versed individual, and he's super humble, taking time out of his busy schedule to come out and hang out with us tonight. He's going to tell us his story on how he sustained a career of 30 years in the music industry, and he's still working, y'all. He's still working. He's out here doing his thing. He just came back from Europe. He has shows lined up all weekend. He is one of the most sought after and respected men in the industry. So I'd like to bring to the stage my friend, my brother, Mr. Lil John Roberts.
Hey.
Welcome, bro. Thank you so much. We're here for part two, man.
We back.
We're back. I'm so grateful that you took this time to hang out with us, man. I don't think of it as a small thing at all. You know, you took time out of your schedule to hang out with us and gave us a chance, and your support means everything. So thank you, bro.
No problem, bro. You know,
let's get right into it. Yes, sir.
Man.
Let's get right into it. It's game night. You know, it's game 6, and you know, Warriors. Who you got? The Warriors or Boston?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going Warriors. Even though I'm in Boston every week, like,
right.
I got to think about Boston, man. I got a love-hate relationship with that city. So
I can't stand Boston. Even though I got green on, it's not for the Celtics. I tell you that much.
Yeah, you might need to change that, bro. Put a blue one on.
I'm definitely Knicks and Yankees all day. I'm not a Boston guy at all. But shout out to the Warriors. Hopefully they pull it out. Game 6 Clay may show up tonight, so we'll see.
Hey, it's been a good, season with those two. So
yeah,
it's a nice lineup with, those two against each other.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think Curry and them going to take it tonight.
I think so. I think they're chilling the champagne as we speak.
Right.
That's what's up. So for those that are new to the show, being in the pocket means finding your groove. It means staying in tempo, following the groove of instrumentation that when you're performing. And so we want all of our guests to come on and provide insight on how to find your niche and stay in the groove. And you, John Roberts, have found your groove and your niche, and you have stayed in the pocket, and you have been consistent for these last 25, 30 years, man. So we're going to just get into it and talk to you and see, pick your brain about how you had a successful career in music. So let's get right to it, man. Let's talk about like
Consistency.
consistency. Yeah, that's
That's
what's
the
up.
biggest word right there.
Yeah,
Consistency.
yeah,
Staying consistent in what you're
right.
doing. Like, I know a lot of musicians, and some of them are very consistent, and then some of them are very inconsistent.
Yeah,
It's like you don't know what to expect from one day to the other with some people. It's like
yeah.
you don't know if they're gonna show up.
Mm,
It's a lot of stuff like that, man, that people take into consideration when they think about hiring you.
yeah,
When they say Chip, how do you feel about getting Chip? Like, what's his reputation been like?
right.
How's his playing? Of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How's his personality? That means so much getting along with people. We talked about that the last episode.
Absolutely. So, what's the character versus skill ratio? What do you think that is?
Man, I mean,
Because there's a lot of players out there that are incredible, but they're jerks and not timely people. Not they don't honor time. They're not dependable.
man, I think it's more on the dependable and personality side that wins more than just the talent.
Yeah,
Of course you got to play.
of
That's
course.
part
Yeah,
of it.
got to do the job.
First things first, but are you a nice person? Are you cool? Can you get along with everybody else that you're working with? Like, are you a diva, or do you show up late?
Yeah,
So I'd say, man, 70-30.
yeah. 70-30. Okay.
30 is the plan, and then the 70% is the all the other stuff that come with it.
Yeah, because you have to be able to interact with these people and get along. And you don't do a Janet gig for 25 years if you don't have that camaraderie and that honor.
Let me tell you something about Janet. I
Okay.
had a tech, and I'm not going to mention his name,
Okay.
but he came in. The last run that I had with Janet was 2016 to 17, and in that time period, like she had gotten pregnant and all that kind of stuff. So in the beginning part, I had my regular tech, Kenny Sharretts, who's always there, and then Kenny had to leave for some medical reasons. So I needed somebody in there in the meantime until Kenny got better or whatever. And so I pulled somebody else in. I said, I'm gonna give you a shot. Come on in. He's never done a huge tour like this before.
Wow.
So I'm just like, hey man, just follow my lead and stay out the way. Just do the drum business and get out the way. Do that and just disappear if you got to.
Yeah.
And she came to me one day and was like, how well do you know him? To talk about the tech that I had. And I said, I know well enough. She was like, how well? And I was like, well, I know him enough, but I don't know everything about his life and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, okay. I said, why? Do you have any issues or anything? She was like, he seems a little weird to me,
Wow.
And that right there said enough to me. She's uncomfortable, clearly.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you feel some kind of way, I'll get somebody else if you don't feel comfortable with him. And because she's not the type, she's not just going to be, get rid of him. She was like, yeah, I don't think he's going to work. And I was like,
wow.
Done. And I made a phone call right after that, got somebody else in there. What I found out later on was that he was kind of like a little creepy backstage, his eyes wandering around. A lot of things happen backstage. Like I've seen Jan, almost half naked in her little room where she changes clothes and stuff. I'm not going to be just staring at her while she's taking her clothes off. And she knows that. We have that trust with each other. So,
absolutely.
Even though I might see a silhouette of her taking her clothes off, I'm not focusing in on that. I'm handling my business and let her handle hers. So little things like that mean a lot, man. So yeah, he had to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a thing with social media right now as well. I talked to Dwayne Wright yesterday, DW, and he was telling me, there's some people that are creepers and they're taking pictures and like, what are some things that people, or how can you prevent, not crossing the line? I guess just like you said, just stay in your lane, right? Do your job and that's it.
Don't be a creep.
Yeah.
Do your job. If you see something that you probably shouldn't see, turn the other way. Don't focus in on it. Don't ponder in it or on it or anything like that. Like we're a family on tour, so it's like we got to protect each other. So and reasons like that, for instance, is where you just gotta like. Whatever feels wrong, don't do it.
Don't do it, right? Trust is everything, right? And this is your reputation, and your name is all you have.
And she sees everything. Artists like her, Prince, same thing. Like all of them, even though they don't look like they're paying attention,
they are aware of everything.
Paying attention to every little thing you're doing. So I mean, you don't have to be on pins and needles, but just be cool, do your gig, be nice, handle your business and keep it moving.
That's awesome. Let's talk about life on the road. So you've been doing this for a long time. Do you have a pre-show ritual?
Pre-show ritual, stretching.
Okay.
Of course, drummers, we go and play on the pad and something like that. Mentally, I try to prepare myself because a lot of it is mental versus the playing part, which is another ratio where we talk about, what's most important as far as, the playing thing is cool, but when you get in front of everybody, it's like, don't freeze up.
No, right, exactly.
You got to stay relaxed and just, okay, let me sit in this meditative state kind of thing. You have an important role with the band. A lot of things are relying on you. So I'm thinking about the show as before we go on. Yeah. I'm also praying in a way, meditating and I'll do some yoga, things like that, just to stretch out, get comfortable. Like it's a lot. So when you get on the stage, you're already relaxed and ready to, to hit.
Yeah, I
got I'm not jumping right on stage and just going right at it. Like
no, you gotta get mentally prepared.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Have you ever had a crash and burn situation early in your career? I'm sure not now because you're a super legend, but have you ever froze up or forgotten anything?
Well, there's one story that
you don't have to share it, but just like I'm trying to help the guys to mentally prepare the people that are watching.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. There was one show that I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, shouldn't have done before the show. It had something to do with a certain substance,
of course,
and it wasn't cocaine. It was marijuana. Okay, so I went out with a dancer. We walking around the venue. We had a few hours before the show, so there's nothing to do. We're just hanging out.
Right.
Idle time. See. So I walk around the venue. We smoke some.
Yeah.
I come back. It's maybe 2 hours before the show. I'm sweating bullets. I'm nervous.
Oh my God.
and you're paranoid because you think everybody's looking at you a certain way. Really, they're not. Right. It's just you being paranoid. So I'm thinking everybody knows that I'm, on another level. right. So I'll never forget this night. It was in Chicago at the arena in Chicago. I'll never forget St. Joe's Joe Louis Arena or something like that. Joe Louis Arena. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's there anymore or whatever. But
is it there or Detroit? I can't remember.
Joe Louis Arena. I thought it was Chicago, but it could have been Detroit. It could have been Detroit. Yeah. One of them. So it's showtime. We pray before the show. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still tweaking. I'm there. Like,
right.
So we get into prayer. Everybody's looking at each other like game face and everything. I'm thinking everybody's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, and still being paranoid. We get on stage. I count it off. Click, 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 click. Boom, the pyros go off. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, the lights came off. Boom. It's just like everything
was intensified. Oh my God.
So I'm playing and I'm looking at my hands moving.
Psychedelic, bro.
It feel like they're in slow motion. I'm like,
oh.
That's what it felt like. And everybody else is just hype. Janet's looking at me. She turns around sometimes like, gets that face like game face. I'm thinking she looking at me like I'm messing up. Then all she was doing was just like trying to get hype with me. Right. And I'm like,
gas face.
It took me a few songs through the set, the top of the show, to get back to normal again, man. I was sweating like crazy. I was just so nervous. And I thought everybody just knew like John is not here right now, which I wasn't, but I didn't think they knew. But they didn't know. No. It was all in my head, So that was one incident where I said never again. Even if I do this again, I'm not going to do this before pre-show.
A show. No pre-show celebrations, right? You
no,
celebrate after
man.
The show.
No, because that's too much responsibility. Yeah. Like I could fall off the click or something like that. I mean, the drummer, we are driving everything. Yeah.
The heartbeat.
Literally, yeah. So take that position with respect.
Absolutely.
For yourself
Yeah.
and the people around you and the artists that you're working for. Like,
Right.
don't take no chances like that, man.
Got to
I
remain
mean,
professional and everything, right?
alcohol, whatever. Like, I mean, everybody has their vice. If you need to take a
Absolutely.
shot before you go in, whatever. But don't go on stage drunk and high and all that. Like,
No.
it's
That's
not
good
going to
advice,
serve
bro.
you. It's not going to serve you well,
This era that we're in, and these kids are stoners now. And I
man.
mean, they're playing with high substances and pills and all these other things. So
Yeah,
they're
cocaine. I
yeah,
mean, I'm like, wow, y'all really taking it back to the early days, like
yeah,
for real,
exactly.
like it's something new.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, be careful,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good advice, man. I'm glad that we got to hear that from you. Um, you have played with amazing artists. Sometimes getting the call the day before. How do you retain the material? Like, how do you set your mind to retain it? Are you charting? How are you doing it?
That's a good question, Chip. And I know you've been in those situations too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I've gotten calls the day of a show. Can you fly in? Our drummer got sick. I remember coming in for somebody, they had like a slight heart attack. And thank God he's okay now. But I had to jump on a plane. They sent me to a Dropbox of all the music and everything.
Right.
They sent me the charts too.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a chance to like read the charts as well as I'm listening to the this is a live show.
Yeah.
So you had to come in there like you had been playing on tour with everybody.
Of course, yeah.
And I mean, the first song was like 300 BPMs. It was fast. It was for Latifah, Queen Latifah.
Wow.
Live before until I die. That was the name of the song. If you go listen to it, it's fast jazz.
Swing.
And the chart is complicated. So many hits and stuff. I'm like, oh God, okay.
Really testing. So
I mean, these are situations where you just gotta do or die. And the key is not to die. Whatever you do, it's funny because the song is called "Live Until I Die."
Oh wow!
So I decided to live that day.
Yeah.
But John Beasley was the music director and everything. We had like sort of like a little big band kind of situation. So all the players could play their butts off and can read. So I had to come in like I was playing. Like I've been rehearsing with them and everything and been on the road.
Can't be the weak link, ever be the weak link, right?
And the first song we did was "Live Till I Die" in rehearsal. I'm like, boom, boom. I'm going to live, till I die. Like
that.
And you're reading double time on the chart the whole way. So it's a big thing to read, man. Read them charts. Like, find a way to figure out. I mean, because I'm not the best reader. I've been saying that for years. I'm Vinny Caliuta, a cat like that. He reads the stuff straight down, pretty much flawless. That's how bad he is. But my reading is good enough to get through the show. I make my notes. If I see something that looks a little complicated for me, I will slow it down, break it down. If there's somebody nearby that's played it, they could tell me, how does this figure go? I'll make my notes and everything. And my memory is pretty high. So Janet told me I had a brain of an elephant.
Wow, good memory.
Like, you don't forget nothing. She's like, you remember stuff from 20 years ago.
How much of that do you attribute to growing up in church?
Oh, I mean, you know how that is church. Yeah, we be learning the songs at rehearsal.
Absolutely.
What's up, James Jackson? I just saw him come in there. He's our music director.
What's up, James?
And then James knows too, because like we get cats come in sometimes that's filling in for us, and we know if they listen to the music or not.
You can tell when somebody's prepared. Yeah,
absolutely. Like, oh man, okay, you
fudging, subbing notes,
get by, And it puts people on a certain standard after a while too. It's just like when you come play with these cats, you better know your stuff. Learn the music. Don't learn it the day of. Don't learn it the night before.
No.
Like James, for instance, sends it to us a few days during the week.
Yeah.
Even if my schedule is crazy, I'm still like tapping in on it. Just let me listen to it real quick. I might know the song already.
Yeah.
I program loops on my iPad for us to play to.
Yeah.
So we play at least 3 songs in service. So but you just get to the point where you don't want to be cramming yourself with stuff.
Wait, you're still playing in church?
Absolutely.
Whoa, I didn't know that,
Yeah.
man. Wow.
Yeah, I play at Hunter Hill. So James Jackson is the music director there. So there's me, there's Larry Wilson,
Yeah.
amazing keyboard and drummer.
Larry was my MD at Oasis before
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he left us to go with. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
everybody left. Everybody left. There is no more. Ain't no more
no,
Beatles
he
left.
left us to go with you.
Oh wow. Well, that was
Uh-huh.
only short lived.
Oh, we know because he's back with us now. Look, man, I don't hold back, but
Hey man, gotta work.
yeah, absolutely, and I respect that. Derek Scott plays guitar with us there, and Trey Gilbert has been on bass with us sometimes. Jay Troy's been there with us. Lately, Darnell Stocks has been coming playing with
My
us.
boy,
So
Stocks.
we got a squad, you know.
Squad,
it's
yeah.
4 of us, you know.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just 3 of us, but we all study the music. So when we get to the practice before service, we pretty much just running through the parts and stuff. James, he's said LOL, but he knows. I know. If somebody comes in, is filling in, and then they didn't listen to the stuff. We all know.
You can tell when they're not sweet.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
So church is a great practice for us, like learning stuff at the last minute, learning it right before a recording. We coming up with stuff before the doors open,
Right. Yep.
and we going straight to tape in a few,
Absolutely, yeah.
So that definitely helped me later on, dealing with secular artists.
Yeah.
How to retain stuff.
How to retain, yeah. So like I said before, yeah, church definitely prepared a lot of us that came from that situation. If we could make it through a devotional service playing a song we never heard before,
Yeah, you got it, Doc. You got it.
Playing organized music is a little easier. I understand that.
But I do have some methods, like for some stuff when my Dropbox is full every week with different shows, so I have to compartmentalize who I'm going to learn stuff of for that week. Like next week, I'm playing with Paul Jackson Jr., Everett Harp, and Jeff Lorber. So that show is next weekend after I play with Norman Brown. So I'm flying straight over to Chicago to play with those guys after Norman. So I have to learn all of those songs. I've never played with these guys with their stuff as this band, funk, jazz, something they call their group. So I've never played their stuff. So I have to learn that stuff after I said I was going to learn the stuff that I'm doing for this weekend.
Yeah.
For this Juneteenth show that we're doing on Sunday. But yeah, I got to compartmentalize when I'm going to learn certain stuff. And that I have a method that I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I might just tap in on a song from somebody else's show just to hear what it sounds like. Maybe listen to the edit, the sequences that they're playing or whatever. I listen to that. Okay, put that away. And then I'll deal with whatever I'm getting ready to do in the moment. Okay, I got a show tomorrow, so let me
gotta focus on
lock
that.
in on those songs, and just get that roll. I'll play them over and over. I'll make notes. I might put it in my phone. Put notes for each. I put each song in the notes.
Yes, me too.
So then I put what's important in there. Like big fill at the top. Whatever, the middle section, pay attention to the ending. Like I put all of that in there. So
all of that stuff.
Got you. So we just look at those things to refresh our memory. So when we sit down, we're not just like, what goes here? And even sometimes I'll put the phone right there and just cheat while we're playing. Okay, what's getting ready to happen? If I don't have charts, I'll make a sheet of notes that I need to follow, for each song.
I phonetically spell out the licks. I can't read per se, so I have to phonetically sound out the licks. Ba 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 ba, and I'll type it out. Just
ba da ba ba ba.
Yeah,
I do that too sometimes.
Yeah. Break on the floor, push on right here. Swell. Just to keep myself involved and remember. The work I did ahead of time. Yeah,
whatever it takes for you to learn to remember. Trey Gilbert is good at that. Him and Derek Scott, when we all play together, like today we had rehearsal, and Trey has notes that only he can understand.
Yeah, I couldn't give you my notes because you wouldn't understand what they meant. You'd be like, "What is this?"
Right. So whatever works for you, that's what you need to do.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to everybody that's joined us. We got some people on. Shout out to Keisha Llewellyn and Chris Woods and Darnell Altman, my best friend. Richie White is on here. James Melton Jackson. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hanging out with a legend, man. We're rocking with a legend tonight, guys.
That's my god brother, Richard White. His
Yeah, Richie,
dad is my godfather.
Mr.
The
Clean.
preacher, Mr. Clean. Yeah, him and my dad are tight.
Yeah. You
You
have any
know,
Mr. Clean stories from the road?
no, I mean, I
Any,
just knew like
just your family.
Pops would just whatever he felt, he said.
Yeah, absolutely.
He don't hold back, man.
Yeah,
And he's
absolutely.
just such a cool cat, man. I love him. Oh man, I love
Definitely a
him to
legend.
life. Like I looked up to him since I was a kid, and
We all did, yeah.
ever since then, he's been like a godfather to me. So much love to big Mr. White. Richie Tell, give your dad my love, man.
Absolutely. What are three things that you carry with you in your gig bag that you have to have with you?
Okay. Key,
Mm-hmm.
some gels,
Yeah.
um, a metronome.
Okay.
I still got my old Tamil one that works really well.
Okay.
And so if I don't have a metronome with me, I use my phone metronome. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like drummers, y'all gotta these times
Yeah.
like I go out and hear people play sometimes, and I listen to how the tempos that they play the songs from a
Mm-hmm.
cover song or something. They
Yeah.
might be super slow. I'm like, bro, it's so much faster than that. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we like drummers, we gotta lock into the tempos of the songs.
Of
And
the record.
I'm a real stickler with that with church or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
any other big shows, whatever. Like I talk to the artist. I'm like, how does that tempo feel? Because once they
Mm-hmm.
let me know, I'll write it down. Okay, I'm locking it in right here. It might sway
Wow.
a little bit. They might
Yeah.
want it
Yeah.
faster or slower, depending on how they feel that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
but at least we can have a close proximity of where the song should feel. You know,
Yeah.
because the artist knows how they want it to feel every time anyway.
Yeah.
We just have to almost like think for them,
Yeah.
you know. So that's in my bag. A towel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sweat a lot when I play, man. I don't know what that is. It's just I just sweat. As soon as I sit down, I'm already like, whoosh.
Me too. Bro.
A change of shirt.
Mm-hmm.
My dad told me that back when I was younger, because I used to sweat at shows and like walk around with a whole wet
The
spot.
damn
Right
shirt.
here.
Yeah.
And my dad be like, son, take a change of shirt because you're going to get sick doing that, you know, walking
Yeah.
in the cold after you've been playing.
Right.
So after that, I just remembered to always put an extra shirt in my bag, you know, to
Yeah.
change
Exactly.
afterwards. My computer,
Mm-hmm.
my in-ears.
Yeah.
That's about it right there.
That's about it. Okay. What genre do you love playing the most? Because you've done it all.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Straight ahead, yeah.
Straight
I
ahead
mean
jazz.
that was my second love after gospel. After I
Of course.
left, you know, well, I was left playing church, but once I got into the more professional world,
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of jazz. You know, with Marcellus and Chris McBride, Joey DeFrancesco. We had a trio together, so I was doing a lot of straight ahead stuff, and I'm coming back around to that now. It's like
Okay.
a full circle for me. So I'm playing a lot more jazz gigs. David Sanchez, I did some with him not long ago. I just came from Europe working with my buddy Richie Goods, who's an awesome bass player, and Chen Lu. She's a vibraphonist.
Wow.
So I've always wanted to play all styles of music, and I think
Yeah.
we mentioned that in the last interview as well. I always wanted to play everything, like
Yeah.
country, reggae, Brazilian, you know, Afro-Cuban.
Yo, your Afro-Cuban stuff is killing right now. The stuff you've been putting out.
Oh man, I
The
love that
videos,
stuff,
yeah,
man.
it's so dope.
That's home for all of us, you
Of
know.
course.
I'm actually looking forward to going to Cuba in January. I haven't been to Cuba ever, so this is one of
that's
the places
nice.
on my bucket list. And
Take some
there's
pictures because I heard Cuba has like the old cars. Like they have all the
yeah,
old cars.
yeah,
fixed
just
up.
on the street,
Yeah.
But the players there, man,
Yeah.
that's where you want to go. Any
That
drummer,
rhythm.
if you want to experience some real drumming and rhythm and percussion,
Yeah.
Cuba is where to go.
The
Like, I mean, the
Afro-Cuban stuff.
kids on the street are playing clave like it's
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh,
So I
man,
can't
I
wait
love
to
it.
go and hang out in that environment.
That's amazing. My wife loves Prince, bro. Like she's in
I
love.
saw her leave something on there.
She loves Prince. So can you share the story of the 2005 story with Prince? You did
Yeah.
the NAACP Awards.
Okay, so I was doing the NAACP Awards already with Ricky Minor.
Dope.
And so we're
Shout out Ricky
rehearsing. Yeah, we're rehearsing in center stage, and you know, it's got a bunch of stages next to each other there.
Yep.
So I get a call from Sheila E. that week during like early part of the week, and she said, "John, I want to see if you're available to do this thing with me with Prince." And I was like, "When is this?" She was like,
Yeah.
"Well, he's doing the NAACP Awards," and I'm like, I'm in rehearsal right now with the house band. Like,
Yeah. Wow.
so
Already
she's
there.
like, oh, okay, let's see. Because she was really adamant about getting me to do this show. Because I've been playing shows with her around that time period too. I was playing in her band, and we were opening up for Prince for the musicology tour.
Yeah.
So we're all in LA, and she's like, okay, so you're already in LA. I'm like, yeah, I'm here rehearsing at center stage right now. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, okay, we got to figure this out. So she reaches out to Ricky and says, talks to him about the schedule.
Yes.
The thing was, she didn't want Prince to know that I was playing in the house band. Because if he
You
found
wouldn't
that
like
out,
that. Yeah.
yeah, like he's very, not,
He wants
I
you.
wouldn't say possessive, but
Mm-hmm.
he wants his band to be his
Yeah.
band and not
Focus on his
somebody.
stuff.
Exactly. And not somebody
Yeah.
coming from the other band and switching over. So we worked this out that Prince did not find out that I was playing in the house band. I don't know how, because at sound check, he was in the audience sitting out
Mm-hmm.
there. Him, Mars Day, and a few of them, they all had black glasses on. And I was rehearsing with Ricky,
Yeah.
playing other people's stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and they're sitting there watching this. So I'm like, how does he not see that I'm playing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever happened,
It was too late by then. He was like, "Hey, we here now."
right, because we had already gotten through the whole week of rehearsing. So I
Absolutely.
skipped past this whole story. But so we worked it out with Ricky. I rehearsed with Ricky in the daytime, and then at nighttime I would switch over to the other stage and rehearse with Prince and them
That's a
till.
lot of music, bro.
But I had to do it. I was not going to turn that down.
No,
Like, no, hell
You
no.
just work through it. I understand.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I took all the vitamins and everything that week. I was drinking water like crazy. I was like, I am not going to miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah.
So Ricky, we rehearsed maybe 10 in the morning till about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, something like that. And then Prince started at around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and we go to like maybe 11 or maybe even midnight.
Ooh.
Every day we
Mhm.
did that. So
Yeah.
in the morning, I'm back with Ricky. Nighttime, I'm over in the other studio with Prince. The funny thing was, Prince had his other band rehearsing across from us, just in case we wasn't hitting right.
Y'all wasn't sweet.
He had John Blackwell, Rhonda
Rest in peace,
Smith,
John Blackwell.
Cat Dyson. I think, well, no, because Cat was playing with us. So there was another guitar player, maybe Mike Scott. Maybe Mike Scott. But regardless, he had them rehearsing the same stuff in another building, in another, rehearsal spot over there. So he comes in, we all say what's up, everything like that. He knows who I am. I played on Rhonda's record, so we met years ago. So he already knew who I was. And I actually played at Paisley Park for his anniversary thing.
Talk about it.
I was there with Rochelle Farrell one night, and then the next night I was there with Musiq Soulchild.
Yeah.
Which is another story too. While we were there, Prince took us out one night during the Paisley Park anniversary thing. We all went out. He's like, okay, we're going to a club. We're going to hang out, maybe jam some, and name a few songs you played on that show. Okay, I got you, Sherry. So we all meet up at this one spot that there's this band playing. We all show up, Jelly Bean, everybody's there. Like the whole time, everybody's there. It was just like Prince just kind of put a call out. It was like, yo, meet me at such club. We're going to hang out.
Yeah.
So Music's whole band went down there. It was funny. As soon as Prince shows up, it was almost like he owned the club. He owned the band, everything. It was just like, so he made a signal. The whole band got off the stage. They had finished it. They basically stopped their set. They were like, okay, we're going to take a intermission, whatever like that. We have some guests in the house, basically. So they all get off the stage, and then Prince is like, y'all want to sit in? So we go up there, and Music's there too. So we play maybe 2 or 3 songs. Prince jumps up there, jams with us too. Wow. That was that kind of night. And, we hung out for a little while, just kind of mingling and stuff. Me and Jelly being a good friend. So we were at the bar just talking crap, having a good time. Yeah. And so we went back to Paisley Park again after that. But that was just a side note from the Paisley Park thing, which was amazing. He had Larry Graham, who was like his bass idol.
Of course.
He just had Larry there hanging out with him just to be around so he could just take in the knowledge. And Larry Graham did a workshop during the day. John Blackwell did one as well while he was playing with him. John Blackwell went to Berkeley with me, by the way.
Wow.
So we had a lot of time together, and we practiced together, and we were both shedding and stuff, all of that stuff together. So I miss him. But back to the rehearsal. So we rehearsed all week. After I go with Ricky, I'm over with Prince. Some of the songs that we played was Housequake was at the top of the show. You can see this on the NAACP Awards in 2005, Sherry. If you want to pull that up, it's on YouTube. And I posted a little piece of the time the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played Housequake. We played. This was like a compilation of all the songs he wanted to play, all the artists that he liked. We played a Carlos Santana song that he played guitar on. He solo guitar on. We played "Glamorous Life" for Sheila. We played "Moving On Up," who he loves, Curtis Mayfield. We did that with Frank McComb in the show. And we also did a slow song, Aretha Franklin song for Ashley Tamar, who was signed to Prince at that time too. What was that song? What's that song? It's Aretha Franklin song. Y'all will hear it on there. So she sang. So Prince gets on Rhodes. He plays another song that he had just written. By the way, Prince has sent us a demo of the show. He sent us a mock demo of him on an Ensoniq. I think it was in Ensoniq. Keyboard. Like he had the drums. It was like he programmed the drums. I could tell he was just programming it from his keyboard, with the funny splashes and crashes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he gave you a reference.
Right. So he basically wanted us to play it like that. And he had all the songs, dipped in the parts. Like he took samples of the songs. He put the Curtis Mayfield song in there.
So he actually was operating as a music director, but he produced the show basically.
Exactly. It was a 12-minute medley. So all those songs he placed in the whole mock, the 12-minute mock. Another song was I Don't Want Nobody to Give Me Nothing. That's James Brown's song. Boom. Boom, boom, he loves James Brown, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, he's patterned a lot of his style after JB. I mean, from the shoes, the dress, the dance, that's all JB. Yeah. So yeah, those were pretty much most of the songs right there. The Bird, The Time, The Bird.
Yeah.
And so we get to the day of the show, and I get there early, of course, to rehearse with the band, the house band. And what Sheila and them had set up was for me to, because I don't know who did this. Maybe they worked it out for that reason. They put him last. He was the last thing in the show, which was great for me because I had already played everything with the house band, with the artists and everything. I went in the back, changed into the suits that we were wearing. So I had time to change my clothes while they were making this changeover. Somebody strategically put this together. I think it's Sheila's doing.
It definitely had to be Sheila.
It's between Sheila and Ricky, I'm sure. Yeah. And the producers, they're like, okay, well, the drummer's playing with Prince, so we got to make sure we give enough time for him to switch and change clothes and all. So, because I had another set for that show, for that performance. So I had my regular set with the house band, and I had my other drum set with Prince. Because I had triggers and all that stuff on that kit as well. Prince, yeah, which was another thing in rehearsal. At first, Prince was like kind of acting a little funny. He was like telling me things. He was sending John messages to come tell me while we were rehearsing. He came over. He was like, "Yeah, man." He called him Dude. He said, "Dude said, could you play such and such and this?" Okay, he came back to me again. He was like, "Hey, man, Dude said, could you put the claps on this?" And and then Dude put the claps on the snare. And I kept looking over like,
yo, just come to me.
I'm like, yo, why can't he just? By the third time John came back over to me, I said, hey, man, why can't he just say it right to me? Why you gotta keep sending you over here? Like, I was just done. I was like, man, you don't want to just talk to me? And then he was tuning his guitar. He was looking down, and I see him look up and smile, like laugh. And then after that, he started coming over and telling me stuff.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a great story, man. Wow.
Yeah, man, because he loves when somebody, stands up to him and versus, somebody just going, do whatever he tells them to do. It's like, you don't respect nobody for that, you know?
Yeah.
So me being who I was, especially back then, I didn't care. I was like, man, I
Spoke
don't
up.
care who this is, bro. I'm right here. You can tell me exactly what you need, man. Like, come on, stop. And he giggled out of it. So that was cool.
That is amazing, man. And that was at the NAACP. Was it the Image Awards? In '05, right?
Yeah.
That's super cool. So, um, tell me about you play with another legend, Stevie Wonder. How was that
Yeah.
experience? I mean, we all grew up loving Stevie and vibing to his music. What kind of honor was it to actually tour with him?
Crazy, man. I mean, it was so much fun for one thing, and musically is some of the best stuff I've ever played. And I
Absolutely.
mean, playing with George Duke and playing with Prince, and all of this legendary music, Janet with
Yeah.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, that legacy.
Yeah.
I've just had been privileged to have played some really
Amazing,
monumental
timeless
music.
music, bro. Yes.
Exactly. And so this was the icing on the cake. I was like, songs in the key of life. Oh my God.
Mm.
Like Greg Gaines called me. He was like, hey man, what are you doing? That's how Greg
Wow.
talks. And he was like, well, I talked to Stevie Wonder the other day, and we were discussing about this tour we're going to do. And he said he wants to go out and do the music of songs in the key of life. And I was like, wow, really? And he was like, yeah, he wants you to play drums. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
hold on. Like, Stanley plays in his band, And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, no. Stanley's going to play too. But we want y'all both playing together, like almost James Brownish, but sometimes he'll play some songs and then you can play some songs and then some stuff y'all can play together. We'll figure it out in rehearsal. And
Stanley
I was
Rudolph,
like,
right?
let's go. Stanley's my bro. So we figured it
Absolutely.
out. When we got
Memphis
to
stand
rehearsal,
up. Yeah.
yeah, when we got to rehearsal, me and Stanley got together right away and was like, okay, man, how are we gonna approach this? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, man, let's just play it like the records, man. Like this ain't a chop fest. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to compete with
No.
you or anything like that. We understand each other. It's like this isn't that kind of party. We got to play this music like the record and keep it authentic. And we decided to take the bottom heads off the drums,
Sure
to try to get
did.
the
Oh,
thuddiness of everything. And we just really went deep into the vibe of the music. We were
and the
listening to
Sonics, right?
yeah, we were listening to the tracks from the album. Like he had all the files and stuff from the reels. So we were
Yeah.
listening to stuff, and we would solo stuff and listen to him
Yeah.
playing drums, how he was approaching it, like his fills and everything. It was so crazy to hear songs in the key of life with all of these separated parts.
Stripped down, right? You could.
Yeah,
Oh
and
man.
because some songs we wanted to keep some of that stuff in there, so we played to the track. We kept the click
Yeah.
in, and we added certain things. Like it might be some fills that we really felt like we got to keep those in there, and
Yeah.
or some of the percussion or whatever. Like
Oh man, that's
there
amazing.
was, we had strings, we had horns, we had two percussionists, two drummers, two bass basically because Greg Gaines was playing synth bass through the whole thing as he
Of
was
course,
MD,
yeah.
and Nate Watts, of course, is playing electric bass. So those two, you had 6 to 8 background singers, 2 or 3 guitar players. Like it was like double of everything, if not
Full
triple.
production. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was like 35 of us on stage every night.
Ooh.
We would get a orchestra. We would get a string, section in every
Mhm.
city. So they
Yeah.
didn't travel with us, but the
Okay.
band, singers, and some of the techs, we all traveled together.
Yeah.
But man, like playing in rehearsals with him, it was just so like unbelievable. Like it was hard to believe, like you're playing this music that you've been listening to since you were a kid,
Of course, yeah.
and now you're playing it. I had a picture. I took a picture, or I had the percussionist was behind me. I said, man, can you take this picture? I was sitting on my set and Stevie's right there, like on his piano,
Yeah.
and I'll send it to you. He was behind me and he took the picture. So you see me sitting on the set and
Yeah.
Stevie's right there, like,
Oh,
right
perfect
on the
shot.
piano.
Yeah.
Some nights Herbie Hancock will play with us. Chick Corea and Herbie played with us 2 nights that I remember.
Wow.
The LA night that we did the House Full of Toys, we did one of the shows there for that in Christmas. And then while we were on tour, Herbie and Chick were on tour doing a duo piano gig, or whatever city we were that they were in. So Stevie pushed the show back a little bit to make sure that they could make it after they finished their show.
Yeah.
So they came over, they did Contusion, you know, Chick played Contusion with them. As I played As, and Herbie, that's Herbie on playing the solo on As on the record.
Yeah.
So man, it was just a delight, man. Just seeing people come out in every city. Ray Parker Jr., you know, he's been with Stevie for a long time. Like they all Detroit guys. Just different people coming in different cities that have history with Stevie.
Of course.
It was
Any
just
interaction
amazing.
with Stevie? Like any good
Oh
stories?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. I mean, he's a jokester. He's a prankster. He likes. And unfortunately, that year my grandmother had passed away. So he told me to go. You know, go ahead. Don't worry. You know, go to the funeral. Actually, it happened. I didn't miss any shows, which actually worked out. We had like maybe 2 days off.
Okay.
So I went to Philly to my grandmother's funeral, and then I came back. And Stevie just hugged me and everything and said some really nice words to me in my ear. And that night, man, like getting on stage after coming from my grandmother's funeral, it was just all coming down to me. Love's in Need of Love Today. That was the first song we played. I was like, I was playing and balling like,
super emotional. Yeah, I can imagine.
Bro, I could not help myself. But the music really helped heal the pain that I was having at that time with my grandmom.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, just that whole show was just, you know, it fed a lot to me in being in that predicament at the time. But yeah, Stevie, man, such a cool cat, man. He's a funny guy. He likes jamming at rehearsals and at sound check. You know, we're supposed to be going through stuff. He wants to play giant steps and things like. He's just like a big kid, man. But
super musician, right?
Oh man, like
still
making up songs on the spot. He was like, and he'd tell us to play something. Play this group. You know, and then he start coming up with a song, and everybody falls in, and then he starts, you know, singing words like as we're playing. I was like, oh my God, like who knows if that will ever go anywhere, if it just went up in the air that day, you know, but that's just how on it he was, man.
Do you think anybody's worthy of doing a versus with him? I don't think anybody's worthy.
Hell no. He would have to do verses all by himself and just let people come up and sing his songs. Like,
right.
No. Oh,
nah,
which reminds me of people singing his songs. We did the pre-Grammy award show with Ricky. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Lady Gaga sang I Wish. And in rehearsals, you know, she was just so elated. She was like, oh my God, I'm just so privileged and happy to be playing this music with y'all. You know, she was just really excited about playing Stevie's music. Like I just saw the joy in her. You know, she was trying so hard for her. She's like, am I playing this right, y'all? Am I cool? You know, she was just on it, man. I love Gaga, man. That made me love her even more, to see her, how the passion was for her, making sure that she played Stevie's music and singing it right.
Yeah.
And she, you know, she played Rhodes on the song.
Of course,
so,
yeah. That's a lot of respect to go into an artist of her stature and then still be humble to come and play with Stevie, man.
He was like, I'm so humbled to be here with y'all. Super sweet girl.
All right, so let's play a game. Thank you for sharing those stories, man. That's amazing. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was super dope. We're gonna play.
We got one more. I got one more story.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, we could do it after the game if you want, but since we're in the story mode,
let's go.
I got a call late 90s. I was going back and forth to LA a lot because I was playing on a lot of records in the 90s, like 94 to like 98, maybe 2000.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth like every other week to record records with, you know, different artists. And I'm in LA for like a week or whatever this time. I get home and we had those voicemail recorders, right? Like you couldn't check you couldn't check your messages on your phone back then.
Right.
You had the one that you had to play it and listen back, right?
Yeah, of
course. What was those called?
Answer machine.
Answer machine. Oh, it took me everything that day. I was like, what are those things called? Answer machine. Yes. Thank you, Chip. I felt so dumb. So good, I get home and I press play, and I hear my messages, and then one comes up, Lil John, Mr. Brown wants you to come rehearse with us. Let us know if you're available, man. I think it was Rock, his MD. I'm almost sure because I've seen Rock not too long ago. We were in the studio together. We talked a lot. But we never talked. I didn't mention that to him. Was that you that called me? I think it was him because he sounds a lot like James Brown.
Like James, yeah.
So I called back. He's like, man, we called you 2 days ago. We in rehearsal already. You late. So James Brown wanted me to come and fill in for one of his drummers that couldn't make it. I was so disappointed. I was like, I didn't get the message till I got home. Like I was in LA, so I couldn't check the message. And so I was 2 days late for the, to rehearse with them. And, they had to get somebody else.
Yeah.
But Mousy was playing drums. My boy Mousy, who stayed with James for a long time in the last, phase of his career.
Yeah.
And another guy, his name is Eric. Forgot Eric's last name. And he's going to hate me for this. But Eric was the other drummer, and I think he couldn't make it. So they were like, call Lil John. James Brown saw me and The Chronicle, my band The Chronicle. He saw us playing at a show in Atlanta one time. We were on the same bill somewhere. I don't know how this happened. It was like a banquet party show, but James Brown was on the show, and we were like the opening group, like to play for. So we're playing our set, and I look over to the side, and I see this man going like this with this lot of hair, like black hair. And he's just going like this. He had dark glasses on,
Yeah.
And I look over, I'm like, oh my God, that's James Brown right there.
Yo.
So he's on the side just jamming to The Chronicle. Like the whole band is right there. Because it seemed like he had to walk in that way and then go to his dressing room. They stayed right there. The whole band. Heather Hayes was there. If Heather Hayes sees this, she knows what I'm talking about because she was with them. And I think she might have even told them who we were. Like, that's Lil John in The Chronicle, whatever.
Yeah.
He's on the side going in like, y'all killing,
Yeah,
so
right.
Evidently, he remembered me from that show.
Get out of here, John. That's crazy.
And they all discussed it and was like, get that drummer from Atlanta that's, and from that band or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So just as an example, man, you never know who's watching you. Anytime when you're playing small club, big gig, be prepared for somebody out of the blue to be watching you,
Wow. And you never know what opportunity is going to come from it, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That has
so
to
I had to let you hear that one.
That has to be the most fun gig in the world, though. Doing a James Brown gig. I'm so sorry.
I wanted to play that gig so bad, man, because I'm a James Brown fanatic. Me and Chris McBride, like when we were teenagers, Chris dances. He knows all the James Brown moves. He knows all the songs. So we would play all the James Brown stuff. Me, him, Questlove, because Questlove was a big Jabo and Clyde fan. And, Quest, that's his style is basically funky, this funky drummer mixed in with the hip hop stuff, and he'll tell you himself. But he was concentrating on that style back when we were in high school. We were swinging and all that stuff, but Quest was like, he would get on the drums and start practicing that. And that was his thing. And when the Roots came out, I was like, okay, he took that formula and changed it over to the hip hop sound for the Roots. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Great stuff, man. Wow. What a legendary career. What a legendary time that you had in this music career, that you met these people and come across these legends, man. That's so dope.
Yeah, man. Great stories.
All right, let's play a game. It's called What Song Is That? All right, I'm going to play a record, and it's a record you're featured on, and you have to just tell me some backstory about it.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Woo!
What was that?
Jesus is the rock. That is Jehovah Chosen, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's
Man,
go.
oh my goodness. That session,
That
first
was
of all,
99, right? 1999.
and the drums were in the corner by themselves, and the choir was all the way over here, bro. I don't know how I couldn't hear them. It
Yeah.
was like I heard the band kind of like we did that so like hood. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, I'm
like
sure.
hood
Yeah.
how we did that record. I don't know how we heard ourselves enough because the choir was all the way on the other side, and I couldn't hear them in my headphones or whatever we were
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
Um, I could hear some of the band because the band was over here, but I was in the corner by myself, so I was just playing, just
Yeah.
hoping everybody was locking in with
Locking
me.
in, yeah. That was the era where, the drums had to be separated and they were worried about bleeding and all that stuff. So they wanted
Yeah,
to put the drums in the faraway corner.
but I couldn't hear the choir well enough. I mean, I heard them, but I couldn't hear them like strong. But it turned out okay though, and that was Junius Bervin and myself and James Poyser.
Whew.
I think that might have been Nathaniel Jethaniel playing
Okay.
bass or Thad um,
Terry
Terry
Tribbett.
Tribbett.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that session with us too, and of
Oh,
course
wow.
Jeff
Jeff.
Bradshaw was playing
Yep.
trombone.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that record you got. I mean, if y'all don't know about that record, listen to that whole record. That
Tony
thing is,
Moore and Jehovah's Chosen. Yeah, right.
and that was the first time that I had played go-go music, like for real, because
Yeah.
I was messing around with it. I met a guy in Atlanta that's from DC, my boy Ron Williams, and he hit me to go-go music. He
Yeah.
took me at his place, and we listened to James Chuck Brown and everything.
Yeah.
Rare Essence, Backyard Band. Shouts out to Buggy and all of them, all the
Buggy.
DC
Yeah.
crew.
Shout out Buggy.
But that was my first coming out playing like a live gospel record with a go-go beat on it.
Of course. Yeah.
And we didn't have it as authentic as the go-go guys would have it, like the cowbells. And
No, but the feeling was
congas.
there.
The
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
was
yeah.
there, like because I was
Yeah.
studying like all the DC guys. Those are my boys. So
Of course.
the beat is definitely there. But man, and then Spanky took that same beat. Actually, two things happened. Andre and Dre Vidal, they did It's Love with Jill Scott
Yeah.
from that whole, from us doing the go-go on that. And then Spanky in the next generation played it with Ty and
Victory.
Ty Trippin on Victory.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you hear his fills and stuff, it's the same stuff. That's my little
Same
brother.
vibe. Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah. That's shout out to y'all for doing that because we had heard of Jehovah's Chosen, and that's how we heard of your legend. Like I think that time I was in high school, so we had heard there was no internet. Like I said before, we could only hear about tapes and albums, and that's how we heard of Lil John on this Jehovah's Chosen record. I actually met
crazy.
Spanky in New York, filling in for you or playing the Jehovah's Chosen gig, and that's how I knew. I was like, this is Lil John. We were looking because when we heard we were on the bill with Jehovah's Chosen, we thought you were going to be there.
Okay.
And it was Spank. And we were what, 17, 18 years old, and it was the most amazing thing because this little dude, he had green hair, and he came in and he was just chopping it up. We had never seen him before, so that was an amazing experience.
So did you
Go ahead.
think that he was me?
No, we
Oh,
knew
you
that
already
he
knew
wasn't
who I
you.
was. Okay.
Yeah, we knew he wasn't you because that time you were also doing, I think, Velvet Rope was either before that or around the same time.
Yeah. Yep.
So in the magazines, we knew that you were doing Velvet Rope.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So
You
that's
got
how,
me with that one.
yeah. So that's how we knew. We heard of you. We never saw you, and we were excited that we thought we were going to meet you that night. This had to be 99, around. You were out on the road by then.
Wow.
But Spank had already moved up in the ranks and started taking over.
And he
And
was
Jeff Bradshaw
smashing.
he was smashing. I had never heard anything like that. And he was my age. So you know how humbling that is when you see somebody your age and he's killing like that. I'm like, I thought I was doing something, bro. And then when I said, oh my God, that really changed my life. But that was all from Big Brother passing it on to Little Brother. So that's super dope.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Philly.
Philly representing. So next record, Tay. how advanced were you guys to be doing this stuff in the 90s before like all this fusion stuff? Y'all were bringing fusion and stuff to the church. Talk about that.
Well, that particular interlude, I stole that from Mint Condition.
Dope. Dope.
So yeah, Chris Day was, soloing on that on their record. So I was like, let's do an interlude in the middle of, we were just doing whatever we felt at that time, So I was like, man, that'd be cool if we do something, because we were playing something in 6 already.
Yeah.
So that was just like an opening up drum solo section.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, we were trying to just push the bar, man. We were pushing the envelope and trying to do something that hadn't been done in gospel music yet.
No, yeah, y'all did, because after that, everybody started being more musical with their approach. Shout out to Tony Moore and Jehovah's Chosen, because they were really the first risk takers in that young era of gospel music to push. If you listen to that album, go listen to the album. It has all different styles of music, like John talked about in the first part of episode 4. Y'all were doing hip hop. Y'all were doing jazz. Y'all were doing traditional gospel stuff. Y'all were mixing it all together. And from that original band and original idea, all these other groups followed after and followed suit.
Yeah, Ty and GA came after that. They were kind of forming around that time already.
Yeah.
Because Thad was playing with us a lot already. And him and Spanky were hooking up, all of them, it's like morphing into something else with them. Yeah. So yeah, that was crazy. And then when they came out, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, all influential, all coming from that era that you guys started. That's called John's Lude. That's on the Tony Moore and Jehovah's Chosen album. All right, next record, Tay. See if you heard this. You hear that stadium? Do you remember this, bro? What was it?
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden with who?
Yeah, man. That's Velvet Rope Tour right there.
Velvet Rope Tour. Yeah, that's amazing, bro.
It's funny because a lot of cats, say that they learned that solo verbatim.
Yeah, I'm sure cats out charting it out and everything. Wow.
I came up with that section, that whole section, actually.
That's amazing. Talk to us about that experience, man.
So that was 2 nights, that was the best of 2 nights at Madison Square Garden for that HBO special, which changed everything.
It did. I think that was the first one. I remember being a little kid, like not a little kid, I was probably 18, but I remember that being on TV.
Yeah, that just really changed the game for a lot of artists that came after Janet. They all wanted to have a show that looked like that. I got called to go out with Mary J. Blige, and the first thing they said was, we want to do something like Janet. We wanted, the props and the band, all that stuff, like lighting, all the costumes, all that stuff. Like they wanted to take Mary to a Janet level like that.
Yeah.
Britney Spears. I got called to go out with Britney Spears in the beginning. Oh, actually, it was Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
When they first was bringing her out, they reached out to all of us as well and said, we want to do, treat Christina's show like a Janet type thing too. So that Janet and that show, the band, dancers, everybody just raised the bar for everything to come after that.
Of course.
Just the approach and everything. Like that show, we were kind of pissed because the mix wasn't what we wanted it to be. Okay. I don't know where it slipped through the cracks between our sound guy and HBO and all like that or whatever. But that wasn't the full mix of the show. That was a mix that I don't know where they got that from. But like if you listen back to that and zoom into it, the electronics and stuff are way in the back. Like it sounds more like a live band playing Janet covers.
The wrong person mixed it. Oh man.
Whoever got a hold of it from our show to HBO, it wasn't done right. But I mean, it was still good. Luckily, we were tight enough. But all those electronics and stuff should have been way up front. Like all you hear is live band, you know. And if you had heard Janet in the last few years, all the electronics are right in your face, like even today, like how she's doing it now. I wish that how it sounds today was like that then.
Yeah. Taylor says she's basically the reason we have YouTube.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Let's go to the last track, Tay. Let's go to number 6. I did my homework. Do y'all know? Type in the comments. What song is this? Legendary, man. That was on the Set It Off soundtrack, right?
Yeah, bro.
Talk to me about that experience. That song is amazing.
Man, that was probably my second take on that song because the first take was actually the one, but I don't know what happened. Like something happened technically in the studio, so I had to do it one more time. But man,
what made you do that intro? That build up?
Because I told him I wanted to do something like a Phil Collins type thing to make it really big. Because the way that they had the song before I played it, it wasn't as rocky and stuff like that. It was more real soft, not soft, but it was hip hoppy, you know, just like real straight. Because he had a program happening with the timpanis and everything, and Chance played piano on it, and that's all I heard before I played on it. And I was like, man, we need to turn this into like a rock song, man. Like, you know, some heavy distorted guitar or something, you know. Wow. And I think that's Tommy Martin. I don't remember exactly how things happened chronologically that day, but it happened so fast. I know that. And Tommy came in, I think after I put the drums down. So I didn't even hear that guitar part until after we finished, you know.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, because I remember I was in the control room when Tommy said, I was like, that's it right there, you know.
That's it.
And Ray from Organized Noise, he produced the track, you know. So he was just like, oh my God, this is it. I said, man, let me just do some big fill at the top.
Yeah.
You know, you know, we just opened everything up instead of it just being like a little hip hop groove, you know.
Did you know it was going to be in a movie?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. And Vogue hadn't sang on it yet.
Okay. So you didn't even know who it was for?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was.
So you were just in the creative process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Now, maybe they knew, but they didn't tell me.
Okay.
And then I heard it later on afterwards. I was like, yo. I was like, that's in Vogue singing that? And it's funny because me and Dawn became friends later on because I was in Lucy Pearl.
Lucy Pearl. That's I need some Raphael Sadiq stories. Oh, man, we got to do part 3.
Oh,
this is crazy.
It's John. So much, man. John. But since you mentioned Raphael, and that's Preston Crump playing bass. And Preston played on most of the organized stuff, all the Outkast stuff. You know, like Preston is the ATL bass player on records, you know, a lot of TLC, you know, Deborah Killings as well. But Preston is known for all of his bass lines on Outkast and everything. So Raphael being a great bass player that he is, he knew who Preston was. He was like, he called me one out of the blue one day. It was like, John, I'm putting this group together. I want you to play drums, but I'm trying to find this bass player, Preston Crump. Where is he?
Wow.
And I was like, oh, Preston? He over here.
Yeah.
We in the ATL. Like, you know, he was like, can you find him for me? And then I reached out to Preston. Whatever happened, I think Preston was playing with Citizen Cope at the time. And he was like, man, I can't lead a group because I'm like invested in the band and all. So, Raphael's like, dang, he wanted Preston and Lucy Pearl.
Of course.
And then we went and got Elijah Baker, who used to be in Tony with him. No slack. Elijah kills too, but Raphael was looking for Preston. He wanted that sound.
That vibe,
you heard Raphael play bass, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amazing,
He plays everything, bro.
Man, but his bass playing is, Pino level. Him and Pino is like,
of course,
different, Yeah. But we could talk about Lucy Pearl and all that stuff later on. But we did
one of my favorite bands, bro.
We went out on tour with D'Angelo that year, and we were on the Voodoo tour with him.
I could do a whole episode just about that.
And that tour, if anybody went on that Voodoo tour, you know what happened. And then we had Slum Village opening up before us some nights. Mad Lib, what's his name? My brain, it'll come back to me. But yeah, each night we would have like different people sit, opening up before us,
Yeah.
Crazy stories. Yeah, but it was cool being out there with my Philly boys, Questlove and James Poyser, and Pino, of course, and the horn section. Roy Hargrove was still here.
He was
playing. And Russell Gunn was playing next to Roy, and then when Roy couldn't make it after a while, Russell took over. Frank Lacey was playing trombone, amazing trombonist, has his own band in New York and all. Jacques, my boy from Berkeley, he went to Berkeley with me. Jacques plays sax, and he's still teaching at Berkeley now. Jacques Swartz, bad cat, real bad cat.
Talk to me about the Berkeley experience. I'm going to let you go because we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Talk to me about you going back to Berkeley and pouring back into those kids.
Yeah, full circle. I went to Berkeley in 91 to 93 before I moved to Atlanta. And just coming back 30 years later to teach has been a great thing. I love some of the students, and then some of the students I don't love as much. Man, these college kids are something else, bro.
I'm sure, man.
Some of them are talented, and then some of them just got the money.
I know. I saw TK. She's an amazing percussionist. I seen you work. She's a killer.
That's my girl right there, man. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
I got her on a TV show actually not too long ago before I left school. It was just a perfect opportunity to get her and some of her band members from school on this. I think it's HBO maybe or something like that, but you'll see them soon. They're playing. They're like a talk show thing with the comedian.
Wow.
And so they're like the house band for that situation.
That's dope, man. That's what it's all about, man. Coming back and pouring back into the kids and helping them and giving them the game that you have and experiences. And you didn't just go out and do your thing. You're actually reaching back, and that's important.
Yeah, man. And this is a great opportunity to do it and still, pursue my career, the rest of my career now. But I'm focusing much more on teaching. And I really enjoy it. I'm doing more than just teaching drums. I'm teaching full bands and singers. Wow. If you've seen some of my posts with, some of the kids that I post some of their shows and, things like that. And there's, some of them I really see some great potential with, like TK. She's already a drum, star. She's a star, and she hasn't even hit the big part yet of her career. Like she's 24 now or something? Yeah. Oh my God. Like, no telling what she's gonna do. I'm proud of Monica, Miss Drummer. She's out on tour right now too. That's another basically student of mine, protege. And I've been pouring into her life for a while, and just to see her out there finally doing a tour like she's always wanted to do.
She's on like overseas or European tour or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah,
right?
she's
Yeah,
on
I've
the
seen it.
European
Yeah,
tour with
I
a
follow her too.
huge artist from overseas. So yeah, just great to see, what your seeds,
Yeah.
how they grow and see that people,
Yeah.
progress from things that you've helped them with.
So a lot of times, advice from we being elder statesmen in the game, especially you more than me, um, we give advice or we offer advice. How do you give advice without sounding like a hater to these young kids?
Well, if they ask me, they got to know I'm gonna tell them how I really feel about it. How I
Yeah.
feel about either they're playing or whatever they might be asking me about.
Yeah.
If they're not ready for the truth, don't ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the guy to do that with,
Yeah.
because I'm going to tell you what I feel like is going to help you, not hurt
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
So, some of these kids are very sensitive. So they want to hear what they want to hear, but
Yeah.
but they ask you
Mm-hmm.
for your opinion, but they really want you to say what they're hoping that you'll say.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. I
So
understand.
sometimes I just don't say nothing at all unless I let them know. I'm like, look, do you really want to know the truth about my opinion about whatever it is you're asking me? If they say that, I'm like, okay, this is how I feel about it. It could be good, or
Yeah.
sometimes it might be constructive criticism. Okay, this is
Right.
good, but you need to fix this here, whatever,
Yeah.
or business wise, some of them send me songs that they might have created or something. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay, that's cool. And people are sensitive about their stuff, so they don't want to hear nobody saying that their thing is whack.
Right.
And I wouldn't say whack to anybody anyway. I would probably just say, you should work on this here and fix this, maybe mix it differently or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really sensitive to that subject as far as giving advice to people.
I understand. It has to be received, right? And on
Yeah.
good ground. I understand.
I had to stop making comments on people's posts as well too, because man, they would take it out of proportion and
Of
just
course,
it would
yeah.
turn into something else. So a while ago, I figured out, just don't say nothing at all.
It's a super sensitive time and era, so I understand that. Everybody is not from the school that we're from, so they don't understand the
See,
honesty.
say
Yeah, that's,
that. We
yeah,
had people that was telling us the real, and it either made us feel good or it made us go back and work on
and
whatever
work
we
on
need to
it.
work on. Yeah, it wasn't
Exactly.
no time for us to be crying. Like our mentor just told us what we're doing wrong, so we should take that and go fix it.
Yeah,
You know.
I understand that, man. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for this wonderful interview. I just have two questions for you to close. How important is legacy to you?
Legacy is everything, man. Like I said, to someone else not too long ago, when you die, you leave this earth, like, what are people going to say about you when you're gone?
Yeah.
You know, what do you care about them saying? Do you care about them saying, oh, he was a great musician?
Mm-hmm.
Do you care about people saying, oh, he was a great person?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to leave behind when you're not here? So we should be thinking about that every day in our lives when we do things. And that's why we have to try to make the right decisions with everything that we do. And
Yeah.
it's not, sometimes we fail. We're not
Yeah.
perfect, so we're all human and we make mistakes. So we just got to remember that people are watching us,
Yeah.
all the time. Anything you do, Chip, me, whoever, like, when
Yeah.
and we're subject to being attacked easily too,
Of course. Yeah.
because the further you get out there and the more popular you get or whatever like that, there's always going to be those people on the side. It's like,
Right.
he all right,
Yeah.
or whatever, or they try to make stuff up about you. I've been through
Mhm.
that not too long ago.
Wow.
Just one cat just wants to make up stories about me, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's what you feel. Okay, cool.
When you're the top dog, they always want to knock you off. So I get that. So you're at the top, and you've been there for a long time. Um, being seeing that you had a successful career for that spans almost 3 decades, um, why do you feel? And we'll close with this. Why do you feel people still call you?
I think just because they know what they're going to get,
Yeah.
just in all areas. They know how I'm going to approach the gig musically,
Mm-hmm.
playing wise. They know the energy that I'm bringing to the situation. I'm always coming with positivity.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with a diva.
Right.
Just, as long as I have what I need to do what I have to do, I'm fine. And of course, as long as the pay is cool,
Of course, right. The bread got to be right.
the business got to be right, you know. And
Yeah.
I make exceptions for some people that I know might not have the
Yeah.
budgets that I'm used to getting or things like that. So there's some people that I make, you know, I make exceptions for. So it's not
Yeah.
always, oh, you got to pay me this or you can't get me at all. Like different situations call for different things to, you know, be flexible for. So sometimes it might not even be about the money for certain situations.
Yeah.
It might be something later down the line that you see this growing into something else, you know.
Okay.
But it just all has to make sense,
Okay.
you know. So it's not all just about the money. And I feel like musicians should not think money first when they're doing stuff. Like sometimes you might get another situation just because of what you did for free for something or for less money that you would normally get. Something else might have came from that. So you gotta think about the big picture when you deal with, you know, situations. Like every situation is different, so you got to act accordingly to that.
That's solid advice, man. Thank you so much, man. Where can we find you on social media?
Everything's Lil John Roberts, LILJOHM Roberts, and that's easy.
And talk to us about this weekend. What do you have planned shows wise? Where can we find you this weekend?
Man, tomorrow I'm happy to do it too. The mayor of Atlanta, the new mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, his birthday is tomorrow. So he reached out to me, his people, and they asked for me to bring the crew. So I got a band together with some singers and all, and we're going to play a bunch of, you know, cover songs. It's the party songs for them to have a good time with. So that's tomorrow. And then I'm going to Macon on Sunday to do the Juneteenth festival. We did it. We did it the first year before the pandemic happened. And then it hasn't happened since then. So we're going back to do it again. I have Trey Gilbert with me and Derek Scott, Phil Davis, Mino Sanello, who used to play with Miles, is coming from New York to play with me. He's my brother, plays percussion, amazing. Mino Sanello, look him up. He's played in Weather Report. He's played in Miles's band. So we're doing a bunch of that music that he was a part of. So we have a Herbie section, we have a Miles section, and we have a Weather Report section in the show for what we're doing for Macon.
That's amazing. Yeah. Dope. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. You know, you rehearsing and playing drums every day. You know, you're so busy. I don't take it for granted, man. You're one of my drum heroes, as I told you in a previous episode. And it's just an honor to be able to call on you and talk to you, and then for you to support me means the world to me, bro. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure, man. And love your plan. Love your plan too, man.
No, you're kind to me, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have to do part 3. We got to come together. I'll give you a couple months off, but I'll come back and see you.
All right, that's cool. We can do it.
I'll come back in the fall, and then we'll do part 3 because I have a bunch of other questions that I haven't even got to. So we'll do part 3 this fall.
Sweet.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon, bro. Thank you.
All right, man. Peace, y'all. Right.
Peace. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into part 2 of episode 4 of the In the Pocket podcast with me, your host, Chip G. I'm grateful for everyone rocking with us and just hanging out with us tonight. I know it's game night, and everybody's tuning into the game. I'll let you guys go. We will be back June 22nd with Musician Memoirs, episode 2, with my friend and brother, my good friend, my brother, Dwayne D.W. Wright. That's right. He will be on the In the Pocket podcast for Musician Memoirs Part 2. We're going to talk about life on the road with my guy, D.W. Wright. That's right. D.W. is King Beef. Will be on the show. So you don't want to miss that. 8 p.m. June 29th. June 22nd. I'm sorry. June 29th. So I will see you guys next week or in 2 weeks for that episode. Thank you so much for attending. And let's stay in the pocket and find your groove, find your niche, and stay with us. All right. Talk to you soon.